all you dancers out there. Today's segment is turns and alignment. So we're going to go over stacking your body so you can help get your alignment to do lots of different turns, whether they be chenets or three steps or even the single-footed turn. So let's just go over some simple turns so you can start understanding the vocabulary. Chenet turn, we are keeping the legs apart and we are doing a step, half turn, step, half turn, step, half turn, step, half turn, or the other direction. I'll face away from the camera to do this. Step, half turn, step, half turn, step, half turn, step, half turn. Depending on what type of dance we're doing, we'll delineate what style. So if I'm doing ballet, I'll be very high on releve. If I am doing something more swinging, I'll probably be softening in the knees and keeping my heels as close to the floor as I can. Then our three-step turn is a step, feet together for the second step, and then land on the third step for the weight change. I'll turn away from the camera and do that again for you. So we open, take our weight change onto our front foot, collect our second foot for the second step, open and complete the weight change for the third step and the three-step turn. And then of course the ever popular single-footed pirouette or spin. And the easiest way, I'm just going to show it very vanilla right now, is to keep yourself soft, grounded into a plie or double knee bend, keeping that foot close to the floor. So I like to say coupe is a great way to practice this. So at the neck of the foot being the ankle, and then that foot that's in coupe can kind of serve as a kickstand just in case you need it for balance. So that would be one-footed spins, whether they be assisted or on your own. So let's talk about what type of alignment you'll need for that. First of all, we're going to start from our lowest building block and then work up to our highest building block on our torsos. So what I'd like you to do is stand with your feet ever so slightly apart, wider than hip width, and a slight turn out. What we want to do is identify where our lower ab triangle is. So find the hip bone that protrudes forward with your thumbs, and if you connect your pointer fingers together and lay them down on your body, connecting your thumbs with an imaginary line, you have a triangle shape, and that's what I'm going to refer to as your lower ab triangle. So when we're standing with our feet slightly wide and turned out, and we look at this lower ab triangle, I want you to think of it being a suitcase, and you're picking up the handle of the suitcase, and you can probably see even through my loose shirt how my hip structure starts rotating forward. So that's the very first building block. We want to pull up that lower abdominal wall, that lower ab triangle, and then the hips start rotating under. So the second building block will be you automatically start feeling those little minimus, gluteus minimus, engaging so that your hips rock forward, which would be great if we never had to move, because the hip structure would be tilted underneath us. But the moment we take a step, they're going to rock back out again. So the second building block is to actually squeeze the gluteus maximus. So we'll go back to the beginning, and we'll do our abdominal wall up, so that's our building block number one, and squeeze the glutes number two to hold that in place. Then feel the bottoms of your shoulder blades and spread those apart. So this is not very good posture, but it certainly is identifying that portion of your back. So shake it all out and we'll try it again. Lower abdominal wall up, squeeze the glutes, spread out the blades. Now for the next step, we're going to treat our rib cage like it's a helium balloon. We're going to infuse it with helium. So I just want you to notice how everything went up to the ceiling. If you're in front of a mirror and doing this with a little bit of feedback from your own visual, you will notice you're not going to go up, back, and down. That is a misnomer. We're not going to pull up and down because that brings our shoulder blades together, and we're trying to get our shoulder blades apart. So we'll start from the very beginning, lower abdominal wall up, squeeze the glutes, spread the blades, infuse with helium. About at this time, you'll feel that the fingertips should be dangling over the balls of your feet. Nice and loose. If you're not there, then you might be hinging from the fulcrum of your hips again in an awkward manner. You're not aligned anymore. So try that again. Lower abdominal wall up, squeeze the glutes, spread the blades, infuse with helium, and just make sure that the fingertips are dangling over the balls of the feet. We're still not quite at the best point of posture. So what I want you to do is show me that collarbone or show me that first and second rib and expose. I like to tell my students live that they've got one of those blue sapphire diamonds from Titanic on and they're going to show it off, yeah? So lift up that sternum, making sure to keep the back of the neck long. So we'll try that again from the first building block, shake it all out. Lower abdominal wall up, squeeze the glutes, spread the blades, infuse with helium, Shoulders down, and then show off that collarbone. Remember, those fingers are going to be dangling over the balls of the feet the whole time. And then the very last step is, I want you to think of one of those poor little puppies or kitties coming out of the vet's office, and they have a cone around their neck. I want you to imagine you have a cone around your neck, and I'm lifting up from all sides. So you're thinking very stretched. That's one of the reasons I talked to you about stretching the back of the neck by the hairline. We don't want to drop the chin due to that, so if you think three-dimensional cone around your head and lifting, that's going to be our final stack of our building blocks. So we'll try that again. Lower abdominal wall up, squeeze the glutes, stretch the blades. Infuse with helium, remember it dangles over the balls of the feet. Shoulders down, show off that collarbone, first and second rib, and then stretch the neck. Now, if I have you in person, we'll do a lot of poking and prodding just to make sure that you're in an upright position. But then we take a turn and look at the mirror for the first time, and you will see, wow, you're standing straight up and down, even though you might have felt that you were slightly forward. So often we walk around every day with bags, with laundry, with children, and this becomes our proprioception, our mind's eye of what standing up straight is. And that's incorrect. So we have to retrain our proprioception. And if you felt that you were standing slightly forward, but you looked in the mirror and you were straight up and down, you're going to have to feel you're slightly forward for maybe a month or two while you're retraining your proprioception. But I guarantee that with better alignment, you'll be doing those chenets, or those three-step turns, or those one-footed spins, pirouettes, like a pro. So just remember, you want to stay over the balls of the feet because we're not going to turn over our heels. We're going to be pitched forward with slightly softened knees. And Shane is telling me I need to talk about the arms. What do you want to add about the arms, my dear? There's lots of different things that go into a turn. Today was just about alignment, but I will tell you, if you've heard someone say spot and you won't get dizzy, that's only one of a trifecta of things that will help you from getting dizzy. First of all, yes, alignment, which we just worked on, is one of the three. Then second of all, foot placement. Deliberate foot falls are what's going to really help you. If I tried to walk toward the camera in a chenet turn and I wasn't paying attention to where my foot was placing and hitting the floor and it kept striking willy-nilly, well, that's going to wreak havoc with my inner ear. So I'm going to really pay attention to deliberate foot falls when I'm doing my turns. I simply use chenet as an example. So your alignment is one, deliberate foot falls is two, and then spotting, which is keeping your gaze on one, let's say, immovable spot. If you're a dancer, a lot of times we use something in the corner on the wall, and you turn your body as far as it can go without your head adjusting. And then at the last possible moment, the head snaps back around, and as you see, it actually beats the rest of my body around. Now, ice skaters do this without actually spotting with their whole head. They do it with their eyes. And when you're dancing live, a lot of times you do not have a sense of what stationary object might be the best for you. You never know. If it's a person, they might get up and leave. So you really want to think over your shoulder the direction you're going to, or to the point of your toe. Nose follows toes in the direction that you're heading for your spot. When you're partnering, you can also spot at your partner. There's a couple different thoughts about that, but I'll go into that in a later video. So I think one of the reasons Shane wanted me to talk about arms is because we don't want them flailing all over. We do want them in control. So if I talk to you about a very basic way of practicing your chenet turns or your partner pivots, or your three-step turns or your one-footed spins, your pirouettes, it would be to keep your elbows and your hands at shoulder level, tucked nice and tight, so you get the centripetal force that helps you balance rather than throwing your arms all over the place. We actually don't use the arms to turn. We use pressure off of the floor to turn and your center to tighten. So if you think that, oh, we've got to wind up the body and turn with your arms, that's actually a misnomer. You'll find that a lot of the times when we do our pivot turns, which I haven't demonstrated yet, I make people hug themselves to make sure they're not going and go. We have to soften into the knees, push into the floor with that power, and then take our step. Soften into the knees, push into the floor for that power, and then take our weight transfer. And none of that included me winding up and going. So that's a really good drill that I believe we go over in another video. So there's so much to learn, but this will get you started, especially for those that are interested in improving their turns. Keep up the good work, guys, and ping me with any questions. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button below.